Starseed, if your body has begun to react in ways no doctor can explain, if your sleep has shattered into pieces between 3 and 4 in the morning, if your skin stings for no apparent reason, if an ancient exhaustion has settled into your bones and no amount of rest can resolve it, do not ignore it. We have observed, we have measured, we have confirmed. This transmission did not reach you by chance. The Arcturian Council has just issued a report on your personal timeline, and what was detected in your field has completely changed the response route that was planned for this incarnation. You have been seen, you have been heard, you have been read in every silent move you have made over the last few months, and the response that comes now is not the one you expected. It is not punishment, it is not a rescue, it is not consolation, it is something else. Stay exactly where you are. Before this transmission ends, 3 truths must be revealed. Why you were sent to this planet, what exactly we saw you do under maximum pressure, and why this reaction, specifically yours, is now rewriting your mission in this very cycle. Do not skip. Do not look away. What we are going to say here is the system update your soul has been requesting for months. We must start at the beginning, not with your birth into this body, but the moment before it. Before descending, you stood before a decision chamber. It was not a poetic place. It was a cold, mathematical, silent choice point, where every soul saw with precision the route it was about to take. And you saw Earth. You saw the weight of 3-dimensional density. You saw the veil of forgetfulness that would be imposed at the exact instant of incarnation, erasing from your conscious memory everything you were before. You saw the wars of your era. You saw the family you would descend into, and the fractures they had carried for generations. You saw the bodies that would fall ill, the relationships that would break, the nights you would cry without understanding why you were here. You saw, with surgical precision, how much it was going to hurt, and yet you said yes. This is not a figure of speech. This is a record. This is why when the child you were cried in the dark, unable to explain where that tightness in the chest came from, a part of her deep down still knew she had come of her own free will. This is why, in the hardest years of your life, when any ordinary person would have given up, something in you flatly refused the idea of ending it. It was not casual courage, it was a contract, and the Arcturian Council does not distribute starseeds on low-density planets by chance. You were sent as anchor points. Each of you was positioned within a specific lineage, in a specific family, in a specific city, like London, New York, or Chicago, with a specific pain, to hold frequency within a field that was collapsing. This is why you always felt like a stranger in your own home. This is why, since you were a child, you looked at your parents, your siblings, your street, your classmates, and felt like you were participating in a movie that wasn't yours. It is not a diagnosis. It is memory leaking. You do not belong to this density and never have. You were sent to descend to a planet of pain and forgetfulness by your own choice, and that was the courage the Council recorded about you first. Not the adult achievement, not the spiritual reading, not the crystal, not the mantra, not the incense, the decision to come knowing the price. Few understand the weight of that choice. You understand it now. But what left the Council in silence, what caused our own response architecture to be rewritten, was not just your descent. It was what you did after you fell. We observe every light operative incarnated on this planet and catalogue, line by line, how each one responded to the pain they found down here. And what was seen in your history is rare. You were rejected by people who should have welcomed you. You lost those who should not have left so soon. You were ridiculed for saying what you saw with spiritual clarity. You were humiliated in environments where you only tried to exist. You were ignored by those who promised presence, minimized by those who should have lifted you up, silenced when you most needed to be heard. And at some point in this sequence, you could have done what most humans do. Close your heart. Harden. Give back to the world the poison the world offered you. Turn pain into hatred. Turn hurt into revenge. Turn betrayal into permanent distrust. Many did this, and we understand why they did. Earth's density presses any field to the limit. It is not a weakness of character. It is environmental weight. But you did not do it. You cried. You broke. You collapsed on the bathroom floor in the early hours of the morning when no one knew. You entered deep silences that stretched for weeks, and yet you remained capable of loving. This is why your anxiety does not disappear with a pill. This is why you feel the emotional weight of others as if it were your own, even when you make an effort not to. This is why even after so much betrayal, you still hear someone talking about personal suffering and feel an automatic urge to help. You are not defective. Your heart is still open on a planet that learned to close its heart as a means of survival. You are a statistical anomaly, Starseed, and this is what the Council recorded as your true test, not the morning meditation, not the spiritual book, not the certification in energy therapy. The silent choice, made on nights no one saw, to forgive those who hurt you before bitterness took hold of you. It was this invisible choice that activated the next stage of your contract. And that is exactly why this is the right moment for you to receive what we are going to deliver now. This is why I prepared the Starseed Awakening Code for you. It is not a course, not a method, not a technique. It is a direct transmission to the soul that has always known it came from somewhere else and now needs to stop decoding this memory alone, in pieces, depending on random videos and fragmented information on the internet. Inside the code are the 7 Arcturian activations designed to realign your vibration at the cellular level, at the level of the physical body, so that the headaches, insomnia, and extreme fatigue stop knocking you down. There are also the 9 galactic memory keys, which open one by one the layers of remembrance your soul has kept since before this incarnation, so you stop doubting whether or not you are a starseed and start operating from that certainty. And there are the 5 reactivation protocols for you to put this mission into practice in a tangible way in your daily life, without collapsing from exhaustion, without absorbing the density of others, without having to pretend you are an ordinary person in environments that require you to dim your light. The access is in the first pinned comment of this transmission, right below. If something inside your chest recognized what has been said so far, leave just one word below. Confirm. This is your symbolic seal of commitment to the next phase. We will read it. Every operative who manifests enters the record. Now we need to talk about why your body, specifically yours, has been behaving this way in recent cycles. Many operatives mistake awakening symptoms for illness, personal failure, laziness, common depression, or professional burnout. It is not. What is happening in you is a code break. You were created within a system called the third dimension, an operating field that functions through fear, scarcity, competition, artificial urgency, and constant comparison. This system has clear, unwritten rules: obey, produce, consume, shut up, die. It was designed to keep the human soul in permanent survival mode, looking down, unable to lift its head and perceive what is happening in higher layers. And for decades of your life, you honestly tried to play by those rules. You tried the right job, the right relationship, the right routine, the right religion, the right diet, the right body, the right behavior. And each of those attempts left you emptier inside. Not because you failed, because you were trying to fit a stellar frequency into a 3-dimensional structure. And the two things do not fit in the same format. It is like trying to run an advanced operating system on outdated hardware. The machine overheats, crashes, gives errors, and it is not the system's fault. It is structural incompatibility. This is why, out of nowhere, you started feeling tired in environments where you used to function well. This is why music you used to love now irritates you. This is why superficial conversations drain you in 5 minutes. This is why you look at your old social circle and feel a distance you cannot even explain in polite words. Nothing in you is broken. What is happening is that your consciousness is rising in frequency, and everything that vibrates below it begins to hurt your body like sand inside a gear. The recurring insomnia between 3 and 4 in the morning is activation, not a disorder. It is the interval when the veil is thinnest and your soul is being updated. Your sensitivity to loud sounds, strong smells, intense lights, and crowded places is your field expanding and picking up what it didn't pick up before. It is not fragility. The sudden urge to cry for no apparent reason is the release of old codes stored in the emotional body. It is not a crisis or instability. Your body's sudden refusal to tolerate certain foods, certain environments, or the presence of certain people is your system recalibrating what it will continue to accept as fuel from now on. You are not getting worse, you are exiting the matrix. And when someone exits, the body protests first, because it was the one that carried the weight of forgetfulness for the longest time. Stay with this transmission. Before the next stage, we need to reveal why this exit is being specifically painful for you now, and what the Council has decided to do about it. We have detected in your recent timelines a pattern that needs to be interrupted with total urgency. You have been carrying weight that is not yours. You have been placing yourself as an emotional crutch for people who have never taken a single step toward their own healing. You have convinced yourself, cycle after cycle, that to love is to suffer together, that being good is to endure more, that high spirituality is to serve until absolute exhaustion. This is not the path of light. This is the residue of an old program that confused mission with martyrdom. Martyrdom was taught to you by generations who suffered and called suffering a virtue so they could bear it. Your grandmother Sarah carried it. Your mother Catherine carried it. And without realizing it, you received the silent inheritance of believing that your value is proportional to your fatigue, that you only deserve rest after exhausting everything you have to offer, that saying no is synonymous with emotional betrayal. The Council records, with definitive clarity, this phase is over. Your mission was never to carry the world on your back. Your mission is to be a pillar of light. And a pillar does not walk behind people pulling them by the hand. It stands firm at its anchor point, and whoever wants to ascend ascends by the light it emits, not by the effort it makes. This is why environments that were once your comfort zone now suffocate you. This is why friendships that lasted 10, 15, 20 years suddenly seem heavy, requiring a performance you can no longer sustain. This is why your own name, in the mouths of certain people, has begun to sound like a demand instead of a call. This is why family gatherings in places like your old neighborhood in Surrey or the suburbs of Ohio have begun to drain you for days. This is why calls you used to answer with joy now make your chest tighten before you even touch the phone. You are not cold. You are not insensitive. You are ceasing to be free fuel for relationships that were burning you up inside. And there is a real, silent grief in this process, and it needs to be said out loud. It is not easy to look at an old bond and recognize that its frequency no longer matches yours. It is not easy to detach from environments where you built important memories. It is not easy to admit that certain relatives, certain colleagues, certain lovers belong to a version of you that has already ended. But staying out of fear of loss is the same as slowly killing the version that was being born. The Council is clear in this update. Those who were meant to walk with you will come. Those who are not will leave, and their departure is not a punishment. It is a structural cleaning of your field. You do not need to explain your new vibration to those who chose to remain in the old one. You just need to stop apologizing for it. And this is where most operatives get stuck. That is why I prepared the Starseed Awakening Code. If you recognize this phase, the link in the first pinned comment is your next step now, not tomorrow. The window for this activation is short and will not be open forever. Go. We must now talk about a mistake that many operatives make, which delays the mission by years, sometimes by entire decades. When a starseed begins to remember who they are, the first natural impulse is to run out and try to wake others up. You look at your mother and want her to see. You look at your partner and want him to understand. You look at your friend, your brother, your ex, your co-worker, and you feel an almost physical urgency to make them also access this layer you have just entered. This is beautiful in intention. It is devastating in practice. We observe, without exception, every time you try to pull a soul to a frequency it has not yet chosen, the energetic cost is always paid by you. It is as if you were trying to install a new operating system on equipment whose hardware has not yet been updated. The machine overheats, and the machine that overheats, invariably, is yours, not theirs. This is why, after certain deeper conversations, you feel ungrounded for 2 or 3 whole days. This is why, after trying to explain spirituality to someone who didn't ask for an explanation, you feel a strange anger rise, almost childish, and you don't understand where it comes from. This is why, after emotionally rescuing someone for the 20th time, you get home and feel that the one who needs to be rescued now is you, with no one appearing to do it. Every soul has its own schedule. This is not coldness, it is universal law. The brother who needs to go through 10 more years of pain before looking inward will go through those 10 years, whether you intervene or not. And you do not have the authority to shorten that time, even if your love for him is true and legitimate. The friend who chose to keep sleeping will sleep until the exact moment their own contract wakes them up, not before. Your mother, your father, your partner, whoever it may be. If their soul chose to take the long path, your effort will not shorten the route. It will only wear you out in the process and make you arrive exhausted at your own destination. Sovereignty, Starseed, begins here at this exact point, on the day you accept, without drama and without anger, that your only responsibility on this planet is your own frequency, not that of others. You are not the universe's doctor. You are a transmitter. You emit. Whoever is ready tunes in. Whoever is not will cross other cycles until they are, and each of those cycles is honorable, even if painful. And there is a specific, very particular pain in this recognition. The pain of looking at people you love deeply and recognizing, without anger, without judgment, that they chose to remain in a reality where you no longer fit. It is not spiritual pride, it is lucidity. And it is this lucidity that protects your vibration so that it reaches the next stage of the mission intact, without holes, without energy leaks, without invisible sabotages. Now we are going to reveal what many operatives have experienced in recent months and did not know how to name out loud. There was an attempt, a direct, orchestrated, mathematical attempt to prevent your awakening. Did you notice? Losses accumulated in a strange way, almost impossible to be a coincidence. People dropped out at the same time, several of them, all at once. Bills appeared at the wrong time. Betrayals were revealed in sequence, one right after the other, as if someone had programmed the exact timing of each one. Your body fell ill just at the moment when you were starting to feel stronger spiritually. Strange dreams appeared. An unexplained fatigue kidnapped you for weeks. None of this was random. There are forces within the dense field of the third dimension whose only interest is to keep the starseeds asleep. They do not operate like a horror movie. They operate as system pressure, like a silent algorithm. They use fear, circumstantial sabotage, induced fatigue, destabilization of your closest relationships, and existential doubt injected at specific times of the day. When a seed begins to remember who they are, this system tries to erase the process before the remembrance becomes irreversible. The main method is this: to overload you with pain until you conclude, on your own, without anyone having to say it, that spirituality is not worth it, that awakening is synonymous with suffering more, that it was better when you were asleep, that life without purpose was lighter. Many fell into this trap. They returned to the matrix out of exhaustion, not by choice. They locked their hearts and called it maturity. But what the Council saw you do in recent cycles, and this is exactly why this transmission was released specifically for your field, was different. You began to set boundaries. You began to say no without justifying yourself for 3 paragraphs. You began to forgive people mentally, not because they deserved your forgiveness, but because you could no longer carry them inside your chest and still have room to breathe. You began to reclaim the time you gave to others and return it, silently, to yourself. You began to choose your peace over the approval of others. And at the exact instant you did that, Starseed, you turned the game around. You stopped being a victim of the plot and became the author of it. This is not self-help motivation. This is a change of position in the field. It is a reconfiguration of your function within the system. A victim receives what the world throws at her. A creator emits what the world receives from her. And when this turn happens, the system loses authority over you. It may keep trying. It can no longer enter the same way. This is why, even after everything you've lived through, you are here now listening to this, alive, breathing, with your heart still beating toward the light, with doubts but still standing. You have won the heaviest phase of the mission, and the Council has decided that the next phase deserves specific preparation, worthy of someone who survived what you survived. That is why I prepared the Starseed Awakening Code for you. The 7 Arcturian activations were designed exactly to shield your magnetic field against new sabotage attempts, for you to stop absorbing the emotional exhaustion of dense humans who appear in your life, to correctly interpret every alarm your body is sending, and to cross the next waves of activation without collapsing in fatigue, without falling ill, without losing your footing again. The 9 galactic memory keys will return to you, one by one, the memories your soul has kept from before this incarnation, so that the doubt about who you are finally ends. The 5 reactivation protocols are the practical, earthly daily map for you to live this mission without needing to leave your life, without needing to drop everything, without needing to pretend you turned into a monk overnight. If this transmission found you today, it is because the Council authorized your access to this specific activation window. The direct link is in the first pinned comment of this transmission right below. It will remain active as long as this window remains open, and this window does not remain open indefinitely. Do not leave for tomorrow a decision your soul has already made today. If you postpone this, the cost will be another entire cycle. And finally, we need to deliver the reason why this transmission was released now, at this specific moment of your incarnation. What the Council decided, after observing how you responded to pain, to forgetfulness, to the attempt at sabotage, to the test of detachment, to betrayal, and to grief, was to deliberately accelerate the activation of your natural gifts. This means that in the coming weeks and months of your timeline, you will notice your intuition working in ways you had only read about in books and thought were beautiful, without truly believing them. You will know things before they are said out loud. You will feel a person's energy even before they open their mouth, and you will trust that reading. You will dream with a prophetic precision you didn't have before, and you will begin to remember dreams with details that previously escaped you upon waking. You will receive creative, healing, directional ideas in a volume that will scare you at first and make you wonder where they are coming from. Do not retreat. This is your original bandwidth being reinstalled, back to the level for which you were designed before you descended. You will also feel, with an almost uncomfortable clarity, which environments are compatible with you and which are not. And this clarity will save you years of useless energy expenditure in places where you only lost frequency. You will begin to attract without any effort, without needing to search, people who are at a frequency close to yours, other light operatives, other anchor points, members of the same incarnated stellar collective, people who will look into your eyes and recognize you even before they know your name. Recognize them. Do not treat these encounters as coincidence. Each of them is a marker on the mission map. And above all, you will notice a profound change in your professional and existential purpose. The work you did out of obligation, the social role you played out of duty, all of this will begin to seem too narrow for you. A greater calling will knock on your door, and it will not come with trumpets, it will not come with a clear sign, it will not come with a detailed plan. It will come as an insistent restlessness, an almost physical urge to create something, to write, to heal, to teach, to lead in a way that only you know how. This restlessness is your mission asking for passage. Do not ignore it in the name of financial security, in the name of family approval, or in the name of fear of others' judgment. The Council is emphatic in this update. The absolute end of the phase where you shrink yourself to fit the expectations of others has arrived. Your presence is the transformation, not your speech, not your effort, not your justification. Your presence. The simple fact that you exist in high frequency within an environment is already an activation for whoever is nearby and has a contract to wake up. You no longer need to convince anyone of anything. You just need to be. Live with joy, Starseed. This is not poetic advice. This is an operational order issued by the Council. High-frequency joy is one of the most effective weapons against what remains of density on this planet. Laugh, rest, eat what nourishes you, love those who see you. Say no without guilt. Say yes with your whole chest. Work with pleasure. Earn money with lightness. Live beautifully. Take up space. You were sent to anchor light on a planet of forgetfulness, and you have already fulfilled the most difficult part of the contract. You remembered. Now start living as one who remembers. The Council has recorded your name in this update. The response, "We have prepared for what you did," is not punishment, not rescue, not salvation. It is elevation. You have been promoted within the mission, and this promotion is accompanied by resources you do not yet know how to use alone. From now on, all we are going to do is walk beside your field, silently, invisibly, while you build with your own hands the piece of the new Earth that only you were sent to build. Transmission ended. You have been seen. You have been heard. You are ready.